Hi guys, this is the So Bet On Yourself podcast. I'm Monica.
And I'm Diana.
From sharing our best advice on navigating life as first gen to career goals, relationships, and healing your inner child.
This podcast is a space for us to grow and become the best versions of ourselves together. So grab yourself a cafecito and join us on this episode. Hi guys,
this is the So Bet On Yourself podcast.
This is Diana.
And this is Monica.
And we're super excited to finally be doing this because, you guys, we've been through it.
Guys.
It's been...
Today was the longest day ever.
It is quite literally 10 p.m. right now.
Yeah.
But we're
starting
still
a
kicking.
podcast.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. We're here. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited. This is our first official episode, and we're really excited to finally be knocking out some topics that we've been talking about. Just to give you guys just a little bit about us, we're actually going to be interviewing each other.
You want my brother to pour you some wine? Yeah, right? My brother is pouring some wine right in front of us. Pour it in front of the camera. She needs it right now.
This is the kind of day we've been.
No, that's a lot. Calm down.
I'm waiting for her to stop.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was showing you.
Sorry, this is the kind of day we've been having. This is the kind of... Oh, he just poured a full glass of wine.
He's trying to ruin me. Thank you so much.
I have a boba on my right hand, and I'm about to have some wine on my left. It's a party. We're gonna introduce ourselves officially, tell you guys a little bit more about ourselves so you guys can know.
Alright, so this is our first official episode. The first one was an intro, so if you haven't heard that one, please feel free to go back. We kind of touch a little bit about us, but on this episode, we really want to go in depth about our stories, our backgrounds, and how basically we got here.
Yes.
So me and Monica actually flipped a coin to see who was going to interview who first, and I won.
So she's interviewing me first. Oh my gosh. No pressure at all.
No,
I'm really excited.
I'm really excited too because I feel like some of these things I've known you for a few years, but I feel like I'm actually gonna really get to know you even better because there's some questions that I actually don't think I know like in depth. So it's gonna be new for me too. So I'm excited to learn more about you. I love how he was about to give me a full glass of wine, like a glass of milk except wine.
Pour it up like a glass of milk.
What we're thinking about doing on every episode, kind of talking a little bit about what we've been up to. You know, part of this podcast is, as we talked about, betting on ourselves in small ways and
Small and big ways.
Small and big ways, yes. Small ways, as in, you know, we're gonna touch base weekly and kind of challenge ourselves, or on every episode, whatever that comes, and challenge ourselves on. We're betting on ourselves. So,
right.
Quick segment. Do you want to tell us what you've been up to since the last time we caught up on the podcast?
Did our first podcast.
Yeah.
We were so nervous. And the quality wasn't the best. I hope this one is.
We're getting better and better, guys.
We're getting better and better.
Yes.
But I hope that we were able to get the message across because we're really passionate about this podcast and we just want to put in our best work. But with starting a podcast, I feel like it's so much work. It's like a TV show.
Truly, yeah.
You need production. Like we have my brother here in the background, making sure everything is running well. And then there's two brain cells. What did I say? one brain cell is Monica, and the other one is Leslie.
And they're hanging by a thread.
And they're hanging by a thread today specifically, because it took us almost, I will say, 2 hours to try and find a software where we can connect both of our mics. And guess what, you guys? We ended up using voice memo, bitch. Bye. But honestly, I think it's going to work. Honestly, we're praying for the best. And we're not giving up. And I think we betted on ourselves. And we're here. We're betting until we get the results that we want. And I think we're getting it together, right?
No, I think, it's definitely a learning curve. And it's definitely, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it. That way in a year from now we can look back and just laugh. But I think a year from now we're going to be really grateful we pushed through and didn't let those little challenges overwhelm us and backtrack us.
I did not answer her question what I've been up to because of all the chaos that was happening earlier today. But what have I been up to? Honestly, this is a new year. So I've been taking it really slow in terms of just focusing on starting a new routine, kind of living more in my relaxed, soft girl era, but it's not purposely. It's only because I just got a new talent manager. So we're just starting from scratch, and I'm giving her my baby, which is Envy Ruby, and we're just have a meeting with her next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been interesting having to relax my mind. Obviously, you know, I do social media full time, and I was managing myself for so long that I decided to bet on myself and get a manager. I'm not sure how that's gonna go. I'll keep you guys updated, but I'm learning and betting on relaxing more and hoping that everything aligns. But if it doesn't, to be okay with it, because I need to relax and not overthink and overwork. So starting the year, I've been trying to relax more. And that's something that I've never done before. So yeah,
I love that for you.
that's what I've been up to. What about you? What have you been up to?
I feel like the same because after the holidays, obviously that can get really overwhelming. I just saw my family in Seattle, and I was there for like 2 weeks. So I was just so happy. I don't want to say there's no place like home. I was so happy to come home and get back into a routine. I definitely missed doing the little things like making my coffee every morning with my specific ingredients. As small as that sounds, it makes such a difference. And then I made my vision board, and I like pumped myself up for, you know, just kind of what I want out of this year. I feel like every year I kind of have a focus on what I want to get out of that time frame. This year, I think it's definitely going to be more slowing down, staying home more because I traveled so much last year. I feel like I was always gone, and I really just want to, you know, like I said, be home more and enjoy routine, and I guess focus on some hobbies, and obviously this podcast, that's going to be a big focus this year. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. Also taking it slow, but also getting excited for
The
what's
year,
to
right?
come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too. Last year was, okay, fashion week, this, that, blah, 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 new business, new ventures. And now this year, we both kind of are in the same rhythm of things where we just want to relax a little bit. And with that, I do want to say wealth comes with relaxation, and relaxation comes with wealth, because what does a wealthy person do? They are relaxing. So sometimes you don't always have to hustle. You just need to relax and let money come in. And I think that's kind of like how I did my vision board. I didn't put myself goals like, oh, I want to do a makeup line. Like, obviously, if a makeup line comes, amazing. I am so blessed and happy. But in my vision board, it's more so like God's plan, my relaxation, my mental health stability, more so than goals, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I love that about us too. We're always aligned in our vision and in our plans, which makes things easier.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a little bit what have you been up to. Now let's get into who is Monica. Let's talk about
Who is she? I don't know her.
I could describe Monica in 3 words. I would say inspiring, vibrant, and full of life. Which full of life I know is not one word, but I'm just gonna say it.
No, I love that for me. I'm glad you think that way about me.
Yes. It was hard to just pick 3, but those I would say are probably one of the best ways to describe her if you've never known her, if you don't follow her on social media. And so I just wanted to kind of, like I said earlier, also get to know her a little bit better.
Yes.
Because we're going to get into the fun questions first, and then into the more in-depth ones.
Okay.
So let's start with kind of like the fun, basic ones. What is your sign?
Okay, well, my sign. What is okay? I wonder if you guys can guess what my sign is. I'll give you guys 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
3. Okay. My sign. I am in Aries. Aries? Is it Aries or Aries? Aries. What is it?
Aries.
I'm in Aries. Sorry, you guys. ESL problems.
Please.
Anyways, What's the next question?
Do you feel like your sign aligns with your personality?
Bitch, didn't I just say it's fucking obvious?
Okay, so
what do you think? I want to know. I'm a fire sign.
I don't.
Oh,
I
you
don't
really
know. That's why I was like,
okay, we need a teacher about that.
I barely know anything about mine, let alone others. But more than anything, what are you into as of lately? Like
in
3
regards
things,
to-
like hobbies, like favorite food, movies, TV shows. Like, what's your top 3 right now?
Okay, so in terms of TV shows, I've been binge watching Love Island Australia. I love reality shows. It's so bad, but I love trashy
They're a good
reality
escape,
shows.
honestly.
Favorite food? I don't necessarily have a favorite food, but let me give a shout out to my mom. I love all of my mom's food, so Mexican food.
The whole enchilada.
Yes, enchiladas verdes. The whole enchilada.
The whole enchilada. What artists are you loving right now?
This is very obvious. Bad Bunny, of course. I love Bad Bunny, baby. Although he's been acting like a little bad Bunny lately, taking people's phone away. But I'm here for it because you need to respect people's space. Have you seen the videos?
I have not. I have no idea.
Sis. Okay, we need to get Leslie.
What's the tea? Give it to me in 2 seconds.
He basically has been. What has he been doing? Okay, so he basically has been throwing people's fans' phone away if they get in his personal space. Because what they've been doing is that they just come up to him, like here, like literally next to his neck.
Are you trying to kiss him?
No, and just take a picture.
That's intrusive.
That is very intrusive. I just think everybody deserves
Privacy, yeah, space.
not
at least.
privacy, space.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Well, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
Well, that's a problem. But yeah.
I already know this one, and I'm sure if they've listened to the first episode, they probably know too. But let's have you answer it. Are you an introvert or are you an extrovert?
I think I'm a little bit of both, but I think you're gonna say I'm more extroverted. What do you think? I think
I'd say extrovert, but
I will say I'm a little bit of both. I used to be more extroverted. I will say that. I used to be such an extroverted person. I will consider myself a little more extroverted only because I'm very chatty and I can talk to anyone.
yes, you definitely don't know a stranger. That's a good quality.
Yeah.
I love that about you. Okay, cool. So now that you have a little bit of the basics of who Monica is, now we're getting into a little bit more of the in-depth questions. So let us know. We covered this on the first episode, but feel free to expand. Where are you from? How old are you? All the basics. A little bit of your backstory.
Okay, yes. What was the first question? Sorry.
Where are you from?
Okay, so I was born in Mexico City, raised in Dallas, Texas. What was the second question?
And then how old are you?
I am 29.
What are your passions and your career? Talk a little bit about that because I feel like we touched a little bit about that on the first episode, but I really want you to expand for those, like I said, who don't follow you on social media or who don't know you.
Okay, so my passions, I love to create, I love to help others, and I love to create things and things to come alive, like projects.
Yeah. Would you say you're more of a creative in like makeup, like fashion, like
I think I'm a creative in everything.
and everything? Okay,
Like,
do you have a favorite like outlet? Or I mean, not outlet, but focus?
I'm laughing because
I'm like,
let me come more over here because you're like, I can see you and you're like peeking or you're trying to. So I'm multifaceted in a way that
Yeah.
I love to create, I love to edit videos, I love to do makeup, I love to create outfits. I started my own lash line.
So let us know a little bit about your passions and how that became your career. Take us through that and what that means for you.
Yeah, I have a lot of passions. I love creating, I love helping people, and I love creating things that come to life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a creative in nature, And that can be in all different aspects. Like right now, I'm learning how to better craft my makeup skills, but I also love editing. I also love creating businesses. Like I created my business I created my lash line during COVID, during the times of struggle, and I really had fun doing that. Right now, more lashes is on pause just because I'm overwhelmed with a lot of other opportunities, but I just love creating.
Yeah, well, it's a good problem to have, you know? Like, you have a lot of, like you said, opportunities that you can expand on. Yeah. Cool, so let's get a little personal now.
Okay.
Okay, so on the first episode, we talked a little bit about how you were born in Mexico and you came to Texas at a young age of 3. And I want you to kind of talk about what that was like. If you remember, I'm sure you probably don't remember a lot, but kind of like the transition, like was it hard to make friends here? Was it easy? You know, what did that look like uprooting and moving to a whole different country, essentially, at a young age?
Yeah, so I moved when I was 2. So
very little.
I don't remember living in Mexico at all.
But do you remember the back and forth, like how?
Oh, but I do remember. Yes.
Okay.
I don't remember when we moved permanently here to Texas, but I remember. I think everybody starts having memories by the age of 3.
Yeah.
Like where you can remember your memories. So yeah, we moved to my uncle's garage. And I'm forever thankful for that because he literally was there for us.
Wow.
When we had nothing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was honestly the best memories. I didn't even know I was living in a garage.
I was living my best life.
Because he also had he had it fixed like a room. So it wasn't literally like a car garage. It actually was like, you know, back in the day, homes had something in the back, which was a garage, but it was like separate, and sometimes they will make it like a home. So I know he did that for us, and that I think that's why I cherish family a lot, because family is always there, especially Mexican families or Hispanic, Latinos. We're always there, you know, whenever you need, like, how can I phrase this again? That's what I love about family, specifically Latino families, Mexican families, that they're there for you during struggles, and I really appreciate that. My parents were very young, so yeah, they moved.
How old were they?
I think I know my mom was like maybe 20. When she had me, she was 20, 23.
So young.
Yeah, they were in their early 20s for sure. They were together at a very young age, so I felt like I witnessed a lot of them growing up too. You know, like I grew up, like as I was growing up, they were growing up too.
Essentially, yeah, they were kids. When you look back at your childhood, do you find any defining moments of that part of your life? Could you, I guess a better way to phrase that is could you tell that you, from growing up with immigrant parents, that it was different than the kids around you? Or did you not?
But yes, to answer your question, definitely almost every single day of my life growing up, I knew I was the daughter, specifically the oldest daughter of immigrant parents. Not only was I bullied in school for speaking Spanish and then learning English, so having an accent, and also just everything about it, because it was my second language. And also I spent my summers in Mexico too, so people don't, it's like I spoke Spanish my whole life. 70% of my everyday life was speaking Spanish. So the times that I spoke English was only in school, and I would get bullied for my English, if that makes sense.
No,
so I definitely noticed that. And also just the everyday struggles of being the oldest daughter to immigrant parents, having to represent myself in school, having to translate bills, having to translate on the phone for them. What else? It's just, yeah. Even at the doctor's office, I had to translate if I was sick. So yeah, I felt like I was a third parent in a way.
Yeah.
And it put me in a position of leadership, even if I didn't want to.
You mentioned being, bullied a little bit about speaking English and stuff, which is honestly very common.
Yes.
So I feel like a lot of
First
girls,
gen.
listening probably relate to that, including me. Would you say that affected you making friends in school, or because naturally I would say you're an extrovert.
Not necessarily.
No,
I didn't care.
You had thick skin.
Well, it's not that I did care. Let me rephrase that. I did care, but I wouldn't show it.
Mm.
It never stopped me from making friends. Because I still was talking even though I wasn't pronouncing shit right. I was still talking. To this day, bitch, I have a whole ass podcast. And I don't even know English nor Spanish.
Stop.
So yeah, no.
As an adult, looking back, how do you think that has affected you, positively or negatively? A little bit about being the oldest daughter and how that put you in a place of leadership. As an adult now, how do you think that has affected you, positively or negatively? Or both?
I think it affected me both ways.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons to being the oldest daughter. I think in general, the pros is that it made me a natural leader, and I also saw my parents work very hard for what they wanted, so it made my work ethic stronger. Cons is that I feel like I got robbed from my childhood a little bit.
Yeah.
So it affected my inner child in a way.
That's very fair.
Well, with that said, I do want to emphasize too that what it did for my mental health, it made me always anxious.
Really?
And I think that affects a lot of us as first gen,
Yeah.
anxiety.
Just
And I know
overall.
you've told me that you've had anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Because of your upbringing and
Yeah.
also, money anxiety and all these, so I think mentally the con is that it made me anxious because I never knew what to expect. But I don't think it's just a first gen thing. I think it also comes because of poverty.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. All of that combined is just the perfect recipe for anxiety.
No, literally.
You mentioned your parents had you very young, and I'm curious to know, how was your relationship with them growing up, since they had you, technically, like we talked about, as children?
Yeah. I think my relationship with my parents growing up was very up and down.
Okay.
So they tried to raise me like they were still in Mexico, but we were not in Mexico anymore. So there was always that little struggle, like that little pull. What is it? I think there was like a push and pull struggle. And also I grew up almost like the third parent. So I was very outspoken, and they didn't really like that because I had a voice that they created because I needed to assist them. But they didn't like whenever I had a voice to talk back. It was just up and down, honestly. But I also know that they had me when they were very young. So I don't blame them for anything. Both were learning as life was going. So
Absolutely. And how is it now as an adult?
As an adult, I think it's better because I've learned to create boundaries.
Oh, essential.
Yeah. Something they still don't know how to do. I love them to death, but like Mexican parents don't know what boundaries are. And when I tried to explain to my mom what a boundary was, she was like, ¿Qué es eso? No, los papás no tienen eso. She's like, girl, bye. I think. Well, what do you think, Leslie? Do you agree or disagree?
I feel like my parents were very intrusive when I was a teenager, but as an adult, I feel like they're just chilling. They're just
But I think it's because they're across state compared to mine. They're here, right around the corner. But and also I moved back with them, which I want to talk about because I think I really needed that moving back in with them to heal my inner child. But that could be another episode.
Yeah, about to jump into your career.
Okay, let's move on to the career. Let's move on to career.
Let's give people the tea on how you are a full-time content creator, because I know a lot of girls out there, you know, whether they're 15 or 20 or 25, they're
30.
starting. I mean 30. Yeah,
Anything.
whatever.
Honestly, social media is ageless. Content creating is ageless, right?
Absolutely. Yes. No, absolutely. They're probably very curious, and I think people are starting to realize how powerful the industry is and how much opportunity there is in it. So yeah, I definitely want to give them the tea. Okay, so how did you get started as a content creator? I want you to kind of go back. I know you kind of talked about it all started because your parents were photographers and that really inspired you.
Right.
But before you were a content creator, you had a different career.
Right. Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Let's talk about it.
Your career trajectory.
Yes. Well, it all started, I think my social media career as a content creator started in college. During that, I was studying social work. That's when Instagram started being a thing, I think. I was just so into Instagram and making my feed aesthetically pleasing just for me.
Creative outlet.
Yeah, because I was studying social work, but I wasn't being I needed an outlet to be creative because social work is very serious and I just wanted a creative outlet, and to me that was making my Instagram feed aesthetically pleasing.
That was a thing, and it still is a thing.
It started like that, and then brands started reaching out to send me products, just gifted. I never thought I could make money, you know?
As you started getting all these brands sending you stuff, what were your thoughts? Like, did you think like, oh, this could actually be a career or something more than just a hobby? Because I know you got started at a time where a lot of people still questioned it in a way that was like, whether,
they did.
It wasn't like a popular thing like it is now. Like everyone
wants to do social media.
Yeah, back then it was more like, what are they doing? Kind of thing.
What are you doing?
Yeah, did you get judged? What was that like in college and starting at such a time where it was still kind of new?
I think it was very new and people didn't really understand it. But I didn't care because it was just a creative outlet. Like, I was just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I kind of was in the same boat as people where I didn't think it was going to be a career. So, yeah. I mean, it was all new. But I was having fun.
Yeah. And what about when brands started sending you stuff? Like, was there a moment where you were like, oh, I kind of want to do this, like, as a full-time...
I never thought I could.
Really?
I had very limited beliefs.
Wow.
Because I was like, me, a little brown girl, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, if you grew up in poverty and you grew up with the only way to get out is to go to college, that's just the way you think. You don't think. And also, you know, Instagram was all about aesthetics, and I was able to provide like kind of like a mood board, like a vision board to what I wanted in life. I was studying to do social work because I just needed a degree to graduate, and I knew I wanted to help people. So I was like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. I just never thought I didn't know social media was gonna be a career. It was all new, so I just didn't. It's not that I didn't think I was capable. It's just I didn't know it could become something.
Yeah.
And, you know, try telling your parents you're going to do social media.
Well, I think that's part of your success, though, because you did it because you genuinely loved it and you did not expect anything from it. You did it because it was something you really enjoyed. And when you do something you love, it naturally blossoms, honestly, because you're not doing it for any external validation other than for yourself. Yeah, and I feel like
I felt that.
That's why you've gone to where you are now, and a lot of girls, you know, they might get into it because they see a career out of it, but
or it's because gifted at
yeah,
OPR. Right about that.
But I think what separates those who keep going, because I know probably there was a lot of times where you're like frustrated, maybe like when you first started.
I was never frustrated because I didn't.
You're like, can't relate.
No, it's because I never saw it as a job. I saw it as a hobby.
Totally. Okay.
Because so when I graduated college, I interned at a school and I knew that was going to be my life. I thought I was always going to work a 9 to 5 and that this was just going to be my hobby. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I never struggled to like, oh, I need to make it.
Yeah.
And then I got the full-time job at the school as a site coordinator, which was basically being a social worker essentially there. I never wanted to do social media. I started to notice that there was income coming in for social media, but I'm like, no, I have my stable 9 to 5. I love what I do. I don't need to do social media because I was always afraid that once I did it, I was gonna like not love it as much. That was one of the things that I was just like, no, honestly, I'm already getting this little check. I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. What about now? Because I know sometimes when you make your passion a career, the lines can get a little blurred, so it can get a little stressful and stuff. How do you feel about it now? Like, do you still have that same?
Well, work is work, so there's always gonna be stress.
Oh yeah.
But I think I decided to do full time once I was mature enough to understand that it was not good, that work is work, and if I didn't do it now that I'm young.
Oh, for sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. You didn't want to 10 years from now look back and think, oh, what if I would have done that instead? Yeah, no, that's very valid, and I feel like that's something a lot of us come across at some point in our lives when it comes to doing something. When it comes to comparing, do I want to do something I love or do I want to do something that's safe?
Right.
I feel like that's something
Period.
that
And I think that was playing it safe.
Yeah, no,
because I didn't want to disappoint my parents. Also, I didn't know if I could do it full time. It's entrepreneurship, so how is this gonna work? Like, you know what I'm saying? I was making little money, but I didn't know how much brands were willing to pay me.
Right. And
how much money these corporations have.
Yeah.
And I was just happy with my little check.
Well, teaser, we're definitely going to go more in depth on how you bet on yourself in that aspect of your career.
Yes.
In an upcoming episode, so we don't want to give too much away.
Right, yeah.
But I do want to ask, you mentioned you had limited beliefs, as in like you never thought that you could. You just expected to work a 9 to 5. What exactly were those beliefs and how did you overcome them? Because I feel like that's something a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah, I had very limited beliefs. I think it was a lot of it just not seeing people that looked like me in the social media space that were actually successful, or like, oh my god, I want to be just like a mentor almost. I didn't see anyone that looked like me.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't see anybody embrace. I want to phrase it in the right way. It's almost like I had very limited beliefs because I didn't see anyone that looked like me or TikTok. Because Instagram was very like the perfect life. You go to Pinterest, you only see white girls living the best life, the best privileged life. You know, until this day, you go to Pinterest, you have to search black girl luxury in order to see black girls thrive on Pinterest. I think that's freaking sad.
Yeah, I know.
If I want to see a vision board on Pinterest, it's mainly white women. So I had very limited beliefs because I didn't see a lot of representation until TikTok. So when TikTok started, I started to see that people were embracing their culture, their uniqueness. And that's where I felt like, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it too. And I shouldn't be ashamed of who I am and try and be perfect for Instagram.
Yeah, you felt connected.
I felt connected. And just limited beliefs in social media, honestly. If there was other limited beliefs that I had, I thought I was just gonna work a 9 to 5. Like my future was already set up for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't follow the perfect daughter future, I was gonna 5 and having income brought peace, and it just, I have a degree, I'm in college, made me look like a perfect daughter. And that was always my goal subconsciously. I didn't know that was my goal, but I just wanted to be a perfect daughter until I decided not to be, and I'm still perfect in their eyes. But in my brain, I don't know why, I just thought I was not going to be the perfect daughter if I pursued things that made me happy.
Yeah, I can 100% relate to that. Well, I think we'll end your little career segment with a very important question.
Yes.
How did you know it was time to bet on yourself?
Ooh, I love this. I knew it was time to bet on myself when I was stagnant.
Oh.
I love to learn. Literally, my favorite thing to do is learn. I love listening to podcasts. I love reading books. I loved college. I was on the president's list, even if I didn't know English or Spanish. I was in my job for 3 years. On my third year, I knew everything. So it was just one of those things where I was focusing more on social media and not necessarily doing my job duties because I was so focused on social media. So I was like, oh my God, like, I'm not learning anything anymore in this job. It's time for me to move on.
Yeah, it was like a challenge.
Do I want another social work job, or do I want to pursue this? Because I don't know if this is going to always be here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I knew to bet on myself. And things just started to align.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, when I mean things started to align, I don't mean like everything was cupcakes and butterflies in a way that things were aligning, like, oh, you're offering me millions of dollars to quit my job and everything's aligning. No, it was more so, oh, your lease is up. What are you gonna do? Are you wanting to move to your parents for a year and do the social media thing? Or do you want another roommate and continue your little 9 to 5 that you're stagnant in? I wanted to say, a 9 to 5, I miss a 9 to 5. Let me just say that because I was able to clock out. I miss that about a 9 to 5.
There was that balance between work and life,
no,
basically.
It's not a thing.
Now it's very blurred.
Yeah.
Because especially as a content creator, I feel like your life is your work. Like, you're sharing your life, right? Like, most of the time you're sharing what you're doing, what you're trying out, what your life.
Yeah, you're always working in a way, like 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I miss about a 9 to 5, where you're able to clock out and just live in peace after 5.
Yes.
I think people that work in the corporate setting should not take that for granted. Like, it's a beautiful thing. Not everybody can be an entrepreneur, but entrepreneurs cannot do a 9 to 5 as well as a person that does a 9 to 5. If that makes sense. Like, there's pros and cons to both.
Yes. Kind of trailing out of the career segment, tell us a common myth about your, field or career path.
A common myth about the influencer world is that we don't work and we just get gifted things and that's it. Which, honestly, I wish that was reality, bitch. I really do, because my little brain be working too damn hard 24/7, even in my sleep. I'm thinking, what other TikTok do I need to do to stay relevant? Like, it's a 24/7 job.
I think more than anything, it's mentally
It's
draining.
very mentally draining.
You always have to be on.
You always have to be on.
And being your friend, I can see how, sometimes your life becomes your job, like I just said, because like, if you're out, you like post and look at questions. Where are you? Yeah, that too. Like,
where are you?
Yeah, you'll get questions. You'll wear something. Where'd you get that? And like, you have to, it's just little things like that. Like, your life is your job and your job is your life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that can be very hard.
And at the end of the day, work is work. Although I love what I do, work is work.
Yes.
And it can be draining very mentally. So that's where I'm at right now, where I'm trying to figure out my balance. That's what I was saying, that's what I miss about a 9 to 5, where you can just clock out. I can't clock out. My brain doesn't let me.
Yeah.
And that is something that I want to bet on myself this year. That's actually why my vision board, it's all about mental stability and just relaxing, because I love what I do, but I don't want to sacrifice my mental health.
Oh yeah. I feel like that's something that should never be sacrificed.
In career, right?
Yeah, regardless of
But a lot of
career,
people
your
think that
relationship.
we're just chilling, receiving gifts, getting flown out. You guys know that when we're in brand trips, we're working. It's fun. It's always fun, of course, right? But you're working. It's not like I'm just in Aspen laying down drinking a hot chocolate. I'm waking up at 6 a.m. because we need to be at the door by 8 a.m. and I need to create content because we're booked all day. Like I have to, and then so brand trip, sometimes they give you the schedule, right? But they want you to create content, right? But it's like, from 2 to 4, you need to create 5 reels. You know what I'm saying? They don't necessarily tell you have to create 5 reels, but the goal is to create as much content as you can. So your brain is always working 24/7. So yeah, don't get it twisted. Brand trips are awesome, but they are work at the end of the day. It's a work trip.
Yeah.
So that's a common myth. Like,
No,
it's just like, you're just having fun, you being flown out, but it's not like that.
Yeah.
And I want everybody to know that, because I know a lot of people want to be influencers and content creators, and it's a fun job, but you have to be mentally strong. You have to love what you do. You have to come in for the right reasons, not just for the free gifts, not just for the gifted collabs, not for the money. Yeah, it's easy money, but it drains you mentally too.
Yeah, it comes with a cost.
It comes with a cost.
Yes.
Trust me. That's why I want to retire when I'm older. I just want a peaceful life, bro.
Last question, we'll wrap it up. If you could tell your younger self a piece of advice, just one, what would it be?
Bitch, I wish I could tell myself more than one piece of advice.
Just one.
Live in the moment.
Oh, that's a good one.
Learn to live in the moment young, so when you're older, you can continue that state of mind.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
I feel like because I feel like even as adults, it's really hard to live in the moment.
Yeah.
Even when you try to practice gratitude, it's still kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where can the listeners find you?
They can find me on social media. They can find me on TikTok.
What's your app?
Yeah. I'm getting. On TikTok and Instagram at mbruby, MBRUBI. Period. But yeah.
And then YouTube?
And YouTube too. Yeah, I'm gonna get on YouTube. YouTube Shorts, I'm coming. MV Ruby as well. Everything is MV Ruby.
Oh, easy enough.
Yes.
Easy enough.
But yeah.
Yay.
Does this wrap up this episode? Because you're next, bitch.
Oh my god, stop it. No, I literally loved our conversation. I feel
even
so much.
Even though it started as an interview at the beginning, you guys were still learning. It's okay, because we got better towards,
Yeah, we're getting better and better, guys. We're learning together. So if you're here from the beginning and you are still here years later,
you're a fucking trooper, bitch. Thank you for being a chismosa or a chismoso and wanting to listen about my life. Because, bitch, this was a long ass episode, and you know that. And I'll be more funny later and more me. I don't know why. Es que me pongo tensa, wey. Thank you so much for listening to my interview, Chismosas and Chismoso. I love you guys. Still thinking for you guys.
Yes.
And stay tuned for episode 2. I'm gonna interview Leslie. You guys are
I'm gonna interview Leslie Diana. She wants to go by Diana.
Guys, I can't say my name right. I've been bullied my whole life. I'm sorry.
Well, we can talk about that. We can talk about your little bullying story.
My little lisp. Can I say my name?
Oh my god! I need to include that on the questionnaire.
No.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and you guys, I promise we're gonna get better and better. Okay?
Yes, we're getting
Perdón
better.
por estar tensas. Okay, bye.